Seconds ago about a 5.2 magnitude earthquake that hit portions of Southern California. I've been seeing a lot of friends in the Southern California area talking about it. I saw one friend who says, I've been living in Arizona too long, I forgot what an earthquake feels like. He was visiting in the Southern California area. A lot of people there with Coachella too. Feeling it, because this was just kind of right outside of the San Diego area. So that's one of the top stories we're going to be continuing to follow in the newsroom throughout the day. But we've got a lot of fun topics today as well.
There's always an Arizona connection. So we will be looking out for that. Our first topic I thought was kind of interesting. We were talking about dating apps, and you go on your date nights over the weekend. So that's something that people are fresh off of the weekend. Maybe they had a really bad date. Maybe they met someone online. Well, these are some pretty interesting statistics that we saw that talk a little bit about the people that you could potentially be meeting on an app. So this is the app Tinder specifically. They say 42% of people who were on this app looking for a match were already in a relationship or married. So that's nearly half.
That is pretty crazy. 30% of the people on the app were in fact already married.
Which is also wild.
Yeah. Why would you get on, like, well, we'll have the reasoning coming up in a second.
Yeah. 12% say that they were in a relationship when they were on the app.
And 54, so more than half, identified as quote unquote single.
3% were divorced or widowed at the time that they were on the app. Now, I know Tinder, we don't have that up, but Tinder said, no, that's not true.
Yeah, Tinder, they reached out to the CEO and they're like, man, I'm not so sure about this. But a lot of folks that were talking about this in the survey said it was kind of a habit. Like, you kind of get into those habits of going to, like,
it's a habit to cheat.
That's what they said, that
Really?
It's just kind of a habit. They're kind of like, maybe they're not actually looking for a date, but it's just become kind of like a habit that they go on the app and look. So it's something that you gotta look out for.
I have never registered or signed up on any of these dating apps, so I don't even know what type of information you're putting in. Do they fact check you?
I don't think there's any fact checking on the internet, which is another potential issue, right?
That's another problem. Yeah, we have to say good morning to Linda and to Sherry, who are joining us, and Olivia. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You specialize a little bit in this.
We do, yes. At Phillips Law Foundation, we do a lot with sex trafficking victims, helping people stay safe and knowing what to do. So thanks for inviting me here.
Can you talk a little bit about what the foundation is all about?
So Phillips Law Foundation, we're here to just really rise up the community and help in a number of ways. One big initiative this year is helping to find missing kids, missing children. You may notice when you're driving through the valley, all of our billboards. This year alone, we've helped find 19 missing children and bring them home. So those include young women, young adults, and sadly, some who've come from dating online apps.
And that is a very serious topic. And when, like we said, are they fact checking? Are they doing background check? How do you know if someone is like, how do you know if they're married or in some type of relationship? You basically are just trusting what they're putting in front of you.
Exactly. So you really have to be an advocate for yourself. You know, dig. Look on their social media. Like, you know, there's Facebook groups even called, "Are you dating my man?" If you could believe that. So go on and search these people. You know, if you're going to spend your time and go meet somebody, do a FaceTime call first. Make sure that they're real, they're normal, you know.
Are you going to be considered a creeper or a weirdo if you, or a stalker yourself, if you're going on and looking at their social media and trying to figure out what their true story is?
For me, I would stalk all day long before I went on a date, because it's your safety, you know, and there's nothing more important. And then, like you said, are the profiles even real? We don't know.
And then we're just looking at those stats from Tinder, or some folks that were on Tinder. That's kind of scary to think that a lot of these people are probably lying on their profiles to begin with. So you really kind of have to go into this kind of with the mindset of, I guess you have to be a little weary, right?
Exactly, you do. You know, and even if once you go on a date, you need to share your location with somebody, send pictures of who you're dating, you know, be vigilant to make sure that your safety is number one.
Olivia, you came with some great tips, and I want to kind of go over these. These are some of the warning signs that you guys have put out there. Will you go over some of these with us and kind of talk about some of the ones that you think are maybe the most important that folks should take away from this?
Exactly. So for the first tip, you know, trust your gut. Look for red flags. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it. If if you are talking with somebody and they refuse to do a FaceTime video or a phone call before, don't go.
Or maybe give you an address.
Correct.
Or tell you what they do for a living. And they should be pretty open. So you call that excessive behavior.
Exactly.
Okay.
So excessive behavior. The other thing is inconsistent communication, or trying to just, wave past anything.
Keep going, keep going.
Oh,
I have a question.
Yeah,
there.
no, please, please.
Well, you're talking about inconsistent communication. We have burner phones, right? You can get a fake phone number, so you have one for the wife, and then you might have one for someone that you want to meet on the app. But they're always going to respond to you on this phone, and they're always going to be responding to the same phone number, the text messages. How do you know if this is a real phone, like legitimate, their phone or a burner phone?
Exactly. You don't. I mean, for that, you don't. And that's why checking out where they work, maybe if they say they work somewhere, call and say, is so-and-so available?
Olivia, this is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Linda
look at
is
this.
Commenting too. You have to watch out for the scammers too. And I think that is a big one, because a lot of these people are trying to maybe try and get money, or who knows what some of these scammers, their ultimate goal is. But you really do have to go into this with a little bit of a grain of salt. You can't have those rose-colored glasses on when you're talking about dating.
You have to have your walls up for
You
sure.
do, exactly.
Maybe even the boxing gloves on defense. Someone from your office is commenting, and this is really excellent. Don't go to their home on a first date. What if they say, we want you to come pick us up? And you're thinking, well, I'm going to be in control. I'm the woman. I'm going to be driving. I'll have my car. I'll go pick him up at his apartment or his house. Don't do that.
Never, never. Always meet in a public place. Always arrange your own transportation. Make sure that you're in control for your safety. And the date needs to be planned. Go during the day. Don't go at night,
And you said something earlier that I thought was pretty interesting too. Tell your friends, hey, I'm supposed to go out with this person. We're going to this location. I'm leaving at this time. Maybe even share your location with your friends. Like those exist as well.
Yes.
You really do have to be careful, which is kind of sad in today's day and age, right?
It is sad, but with burner phones and all the technology, you just never know. And there's so many people that meet under false pretenses. You can't be too safe.
This might be where social media is actually a positive. If you're posting a photo of the two of you out on date and say date night, meeting for the first time, you might start getting comments from people saying, that's not who he says he is, if you tag him, or saying, that's someone else's boyfriend or someone else's husband, or people do see your location.
Why did you use men for all of your
You could say women. Well, women. You're right. You're absolutely. I should not assume. You're absolutely right. I imagine this goes both ways.
It
Men
does.
as well as women can be in danger, and they can be tricked.
It does, absolutely. Even young men, we're finding young teenagers are being lured under false pretenses. So it can happen to anybody, but commonly women we see for the most part, for sure.
My mom always said, if it's too good to be true,
It is.
probably. That could lead to some dating issues as well, right?
It can.
How do people find you guys? How do they get a little bit more information and maybe help your cause a little?
So we're at phillipslawgroupfoundation.com or Phillips Law. You could visit us either way. Through the foundation, we're here to help if you ever have questions or need somebody to advocate on your behalf.
I have to read this comment. This is from Sherry, who says, even now, 33 years ago, we met in a public place.
Correct.
You just got to take those extra precautions, because you never know, unfortunately. Well, thank you so much for
Yes.
coming in. This was a wealth of knowledge. And
Yeah.
again, you can go and talk about the foundation. Give that website one more time, because you put the tips there, haven't you?
Yes, we have
Okay.
the tips there. We have a lot of information about it. It's phillipslawfoundation.org. Visit us there. There's also information on our Phillips Law Group website about how to stay safe in public as well.
And I think this applies to every single age group. It's not just the young 20-something looking for their first marriage. This is just
Across the board,
across
all
the
age
board.
groups.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Olivia.
Yes, thank you so
Thanks
much
for
for
coming
having
in.
me.
We
Talking to
appreciate
you
it.
soon. Take a listen to this, you guys. We are going to talk about some digital clutter.
I just cleared this out and I have over 50 emails.
Tens of thousands. Actually. Work, I have 2,300.
So over the weekend, I deleted 23,000 of my emails, and I have probably 30 or 40 left in my email.
1,000?
Yeah.
How often do you clear out your inbox?
Rarely, if ever.
Right here, just on this line, it's 46. And then all these other ones, more than 50.
Like 10
How often do you clean out your inbox?
every day.
It's been a few years, but one time on my iPhone, I hit right around 36,000, and I wasn't getting any new emails, and that was it. That was the limit.
So I have zero, because it bugs me. I purposely go through and take care of it because I don't like seeing red numbers.
Oh my goodness, red numbers.
I'm with them. So we talked about this yesterday, but unfortunately we didn't get the sound to work last Friday. But we did a little survey.
Okay.
The personal information site called All About Cookies recently surveyed 1,000 U.S. adults to determine how much digital clutter they have and how it is impacting their lives. So this was pretty interesting. The average number of unread emails, 1,044. Only 32% of participants reported having zero. So some of those, Mike, our photographer that said he has zero,
very impressive.
He's in the majority or the minority there.
Very impressive. Social media apps racking up the second highest number of unread notifications, 17 on average. I think that those can get lost in the shuffle because you're getting so many, and then you have to have your priority inbox and your other inbox and stuff like that. Average number of open browser tabs. Trail closely behind at 15, while unread text messages fall around 12.
All right, so I just checked. Look at this.
This is personal
Zero.
or work?
This is personal. 0 emails and 1 unread text. But that's not bad.
I have 4. It's,
Yeah, get in there. Look, I'm not lying. I'm doing pretty good.
It's saying that I have 4 unread texts, but I think these are like from Walgreens, and then I have 2 voicemails that I need to check, which are
I have an idea. Why don't we listen to them right now?
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
They're from Walgreens letting me know my prescription is ready.
What kind of prescription? That'd be really interesting to see what kind of
Oh.
drugs you're on.
We may want to talk about that on a
After,
totally
on a
different
different
topic.
subject. Yeah.
Totally different. Now, as for the emails, it is telling me that I have 3,400, 4,000. I know
On your personal?
I know that's not correct. I know I have closer to about 100,000.
Okay, hold on. Let me look.
Now, work.
This is my work phone.
Okay.
This one's a different story. 470 unread emails. And do I actually read any of those?
How do I find out how many I have?
Go to the top, press your name right there. Oh,
okay.
Yep. And then look on the side. It says,
Oh, over 1,000.
see? I told you.
Over
So if our
1,000.
boss is watching, we of course check our emails when it says
those
their
are-
names.
those are
yeah,
like
yeah.
priority.
That priority. Yeah,
Yes.
that goes in the priority folder.
Work now, my text messages unchecked, 47 unchecked text messages.
On your work?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta check that out.
Oh, we're getting a lot.
All
of
right,
comments.
welcome back. All right, so folks, we were just talking about the digital clutter, and we're getting some comments, you said?
Claire the junk mail, says Linda.
Yeah.
Lil Philosophy says she forgets about the emails. I get that. Make sure you're clearing that trash mail as well. That's the one thing is I'll delete and then I forget to clear all that out. I have a Yahoo account and I'm not going to get rid of it because I've had it so long. My question is, please, someone help me. How do I get rid of like 10,000, 20,000 emails at one time?
I don't know if there is a way, is there?
I don't know.
All right, maybe you have to Google it.
Because I can't sit there one by one deleting 100,000 emails.
That's going to take you forever.
That was my New Year's resolution like 5 years ago.
You know what I do on a plane?
Yes, delete.
Because you're bored on a plane, I go through emails.
Phone,
I go
pictures.
through old text messages, because if you go and look at your phone, it'll show you like how much is
How far
actually
back?
taken up. No, like how much is taken
data.
up. And a lot of text messages are a lot of data.
Mine go back to 2017.
Your text messages?
2017 when I first got this phone. I know.
That's like a time machine you got over there.
I wonder if you can hire anyone to declutter
Evidence,
your
that's
digital.
better. Yeah, Trenton, our producer, says she's got evidence on that
Okay,
phone.
let's also talk about evidence. Do you have a neighbor? Have you ever had a neighbor that you just didn't like?
Yeah.
Couldn't deal with?
I hope they're watching. I'm just kidding. No, okay, so when I first moved here, I moved into an apartment building.
Like a big building.
Yeah, it was a big building.
Okay.
And it must have been the most poorly constructed building I've ever seen.
Could you hear everything?
I don't even know what they were doing, but you could hear a pin drop on the floor and it would reverberate into my apartment.
Oh my goodness.
And they were so loud.
Okay.
And I worked the weekend morning show, so that means you go to bed early. I tried everything. White noise machine. I tried earplugs. I tried everything.
Sleeping pills. Prescribed by his doctor, if that's what's in his Walgreens
Yeah.
cart.
Everything to try and block out the noise. So we're talking about revenge on what people have done to get revenge on their neighbors. My apartment had a metal staircase. So every morning when my alarm went off super early and they were up late making noise, I would run down the staircase back and forth because it vibrated and made so much noise in my apartment that I would just hope that it went through the ceiling into their apartment so they could be woken up.
That's a lot of work. You know what I would have done?
Well, I got my steps in.
Oh, that's true. I would have
Revenge and
and
getting a good burn.
exercise.
Yeah.
I would have just let the alarm go while I was in the shower getting ready for
See,
work.
I don't think they could hear that. I don't know what they. But then I also found a. This is bad. I probably should admit to all of this.
You know your neighbor's watching.
Well, I moved out of there years ago, so good luck. I hope you've. Never mind. But I found a giant cardboard tube. Like, I think you put fabric on it or something. So I would take it and I would hit it up
The ceiling.
into the ceiling.
The ceiling.
They were the worst neighbors.
I had a gentleman in Las Vegas who purchased a Stairmaster, and he told me, I'm going to purchase a stair climber. And I said, that's fantastic, but I also work the morning show, so these are the hours I sleep, if that makes a difference, but that didn't matter. And so same thing, I would just take the broom and be like, boom, 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 I'm home, I can hear you. We'd love to hear from you guys. We are talking, as Ty mentioned, neighbor revenge. In a survey for Newsweek by Talker Research, 1,000 U.S. adults were asked about the pettiest things ever they have done to a neighbor, and the results are not going to disappoint. So I think ours are pretty tame
For the most part, right?
compared to what some of these are. We do have some graphics for you. Trenton, what graphics? Do we know? 1, 2, 3. Try 3.
Let's try 3. Let's see what
Go
happens
with
if I
3 or
press
4.
3. There it is. No.
No. That's,
How about this one?
No.
How about,
This one.
hold on, this one? Nope. I think it's
Okay.
just VO. I don't
Oh,
think we have that.
Okay.
It's all right.
Well, we're just going to read them to you, and you guys can laugh along with us. Revenge and exercise, LOL, says Lil
See,
Philosophy.
I got my revenge and my steps in. I was a double whammy. It was
This
good
one's
for my
simple.
mental health.
Putting a padlock on a shared fence. One neighbor got tired of kids cutting through their yard. They installed a lock to keep them out.
All right, how about this one? And you know what? I kind of agree with this one. Return trash to its rightful owner. Okay.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you ever been like hiking or something and people leave their dog waste
in a baggie.
Yeah.
Which I don't get because it doesn't really biodegrade.
No.
Take
so
it
I
with
don't,
you.
Yeah, so anyway, but this person returned trash to its rightful owner. Several people admitted to throwing garbage or even dog poop back into their neighbor's yard after it had been dumped into theirs.
Blocking their driveway out of spite, one person left their car in front of the driveway on purpose to stop a neighbor from using their space.
Okay, this one is really petty, and I think that maybe this actually could potentially be criminal. Super glued a mailbox shut. I don't think you're allowed to mess with the USPS. It was done to create maximum inconvenience.
If only for a day or two.
Yeah, but I don't think you're. I still think
I
that's
would
a
not.
federal
I would
crime.
not recommend super gluing that. Lil Philosophy says, I just have a neighbor with a few loud cars.
Yes.
And they rev them up every week or so. How long are they revving them up for? I'm wondering.
I don't know.
People turn their sprinklers on to soak cars that were just cleaned. Let's see. They shoveled snow back onto their neighbor's driveway. That's a classic winter war move in response to a neighbor dumping snow onto their property.
Oh, now this one is really petty and maybe one of my favorites.
I like this one too.
But used potato flakes as fake grass seed. So then when they sprinkled the
what
yard,
a mess.
it turned into basically mashed potatoes in their yard. That one's mean, but I mean,
Yeah, that's funny though. And then blasting loud music might get some fighting noises cranking up their speakers in retaliation.
So again, this was all from Talker Research. People submitted this.
You
So
have to be
these are-
careful because people have cameras everywhere.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna
not
say.
just the Ring and the doorbell cameras, but people put cameras all around the perimeter.
Yep.
And if you're going to be sneaking in, you're going to get caught.
But if you have good video of your neighbor doing these things, let us know.
That would be kind of funny to share.
Little Philosophy says about an hour or hour and a half that they were revving their engine.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's too
a
much.
lot.
I will say though, those neighbors moved out, and a lady moved in.
Quiet as a church mouse.
Yeah, never heard her. So I think it's just, and I think maybe they were flat-footed or something because it was like,
Boom, 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 boom.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think loud
Or maybe they
music.
had gout.
Loud music is the worst.
Loud music. Yeah.
Loud music
I'm
is
glad
the
I moved
worst.
out of that apartment. That was a rough couple of years dealing with them.
Now I just have Johnny living in my house, constantly whistling.
Whistling, is that a pet peeve?
My dad whistled growing up, and you know, whistling is a sign of like happiness.
Yeah.
But
And you're not a
sometimes-
happy person?
Yeah, but sometimes you just want quiet. You just stop whistling. That might be another topic. What are some of the things
that annoy you?
your spouses or roommates do where you just want to say, shh?
I'm sure people probably have a lot to talk about that. All right, what's the next topic you want to get to?
I think we wanted to talk about a new poll that shows when you sit down to eat a meal. This is 1000% both of us.
Yes.
Trenton, let us know. You have to be watching something. I have to, he says totally. Trenton's our producer. I have to turn the TV on immediately. Number one, because I don't want to hear anyone chewing. I don't know what it's called.
I feel like this is more like therapy for you and I.
Thank you.
Than it is like a.
Thank you.
So 77% of people said that they have to find a show before they can even start eating. And I was like, when I read that, I was like, oh, that's funny. But then I was like,
Oh, that's, yeah.
wait,
Oh.
that actually is me.
That's
I
me.
am one of those people.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. Like I cook my meal, then I get my laptop sometimes and I'm like looking through to try and find something on Netflix or Hulu or something to watch before I eat. And then all of a sudden, my pasta fagioli soup is cold
It's
because
cold.
I've been
You read my
scrolling
mind.
trying to find what I'm trying to watch.
When I walk in, I turn the television on and then I'll start cooking. And while I'm cooking, I'm looking for what I want to watch. And then when we sit down, I have to have something on.
You know what I started doing, and this is actually, maybe this would help both of you and I, listening to books on tape.
Oh, that's a lovely idea.
So
That's a
then
good
when you're
idea.
like out, because you can do chores, cook dinner, do whatever, but you just keep your AirPods in, listen to your book on tape while you're eating. That's actually helped a lot.
I like that, but I feel like when I'm eating by myself, I like to watch something and
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily staring down at my food because then I feel like, oh, I'm by myself. So the television keeps me company. But then I would feel really rude if Johnny and I were eating and I had a book on tape. I'd be like, I don't want to talk to
Yeah,
you.
sorry, Johnny.
Which after how many years that we've been together, I guess wouldn't be that different. Let's see, barking dogs. We're still talking
Yeah.
about neighbors. That was a really good topic. Linda says barking dogs during the night. That is a tough one. And Sherry Nevada Pup says, I live in a newer home with great
Oh,
insulation.
lucky.
I hear nothing, not even fireworks.
My neighborhood, do you get a lot of fireworks in your
We
neighborhood?
around the holidays,
Yeah.
and you'll hear them, for a couple of hours. We sometimes had a neighbor who used to go in the middle of the street. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Just go to one of the shows.
I-
Go to the park.
My dog hates it when there's fireworks. So anytime we have like 4th of July, New Year's, now they're doing it on Christmas. Why Christmas?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Why?
there's
We say why. Trenton
Why?
says why. I feel, and this is probably a different topic, but with our hour, I get very anxious when neighbors. I hope they're not watching. Lovely neighbors, but they were doing their landscape, and it's like 6 p.m. and I'm still hearing, and it's like I'm like, I need to sleep, but you can't inconvenience people because.
And then the early leaf blowers in the morning, 6 a.m. with the leaf blowers.
There
Don't get
should
me
be
started on
rules.
that. I think there actually are
Yeah, but
in
people
some
don't
city
follow
codes.
the rules though.
Yeah.
Before 8 a.m.
I think there actually are city laws, depending on where you are in the metro area, that there's times when you can actually do work.
Yeah. Sometimes I hear cats screaming in the middle of the night. Okay, we have 2 minutes left.
Oh, I've been waiting for this.
Americans are snacking less.
Yes. Do we have a thing on this?
I don't know.
Here's people snacking less. Why don't you read?
Yeah. Okay. So we see that there's a slowdown in snacking. We are talking about General Mills. 5% last quarter fell. They're not selling as many snacks. So there's different reasons, right? They're saying maybe people who don't have as much disposable income for snacks are buying less, and then other people are trying to eat healthier.
Okay. On the other side of this, Lay's. Hold on. Did you have the Lay's information for me?
There should be a picture. Do we have video?
I don't know if we have
Glenn,
it.
do you see Lay's video?
We'll just talk about it.
No.
All right. How about this?
Jeff was going to put it in.
Lay's is doing it's called Do Us a Flavor Sweepstakes. The winner can win $1 million. More than 700,000 people last year submitted to have their flavors. So there's 3 that are out right now. Lay's Bacon Grilled Cheese, Valentina and Lime, and then the wavy Korean style fried chicken.
I went to 5 different stores legit and could not find them anywhere. Even though
So is Lay's lying to us that these are out in the stores?
on the line, it says, that's how my mom says it, on the line, it says fries and Safeway. I went to Fries, Safeway, and my mom does watch. Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
So I found another flavor that is
Okay.
different.
Okay.
So I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Brand new, I'm opening.
Brand new flavor
30
from
seconds,
Lay's. Okay,
30
hold on.
seconds. See if you can guess what it is. Are your hands clean?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Wait, try it. Sour cream and onion.
Nope. Brand new flavor. Funyun.
But you can just buy Funyuns. Why do you need
These
to?
are Funyun